what cameras were sort of best, reliability and that sort of stuff, and I think it was,
Old adage of it's remote access by permission.
Yeah.
Well, for the viewers who are here today, I just wonder whether you could tell us a little about yourself and your business and how you've come to here today.
So I'm one of the managing directors of JCS based in Durham in Concert. We specialise in CCTV, access control, fire, we've just moved into fire, and intruder alarms.
Right, how long have you been operating?
So sole trader, I was operating I think about seven years now. We then went limited company, I think it was about 4 years ago, and then from there, year on year, we've just grown.
So what sort of size are you? How many people are operating?
So we've got 2 installers plus myself, and then we've got Kelsey, the managing director, and Colby on sales as well.
Okay, so just to paint a picture, what's your kind of customer base like?
We're mainly domestic to start off with, but we've massively moved into commercial these last couple of years, and some quite, well, I would say, footballers.
Really?
We managed to get Newcastle United. We do a lot for them players, their installations and that sort of stuff.
Good. So, Jay, you've worked with HikVision for how long?
Approximately about, I would say, 7 years now.
Right, and what makes you partner with us?
We started off with me as a sole trader. When I started the business off, it was sort of trying to get our footing, working out what would work for us and what cameras were sort of best, reliability and that sort of stuff. And I think it was, it was HikVision obviously we'd moved on to, and once we made the move there was a massive difference in obviously quality and obviously reliability, which we then never basically went anywhere else.
I'm just wondering, have you been to a HikVision Insight before?
For the last 4 or 5 years, never missed one. Until COVID hit, so... Yeah.
So we're based here in Leeds today. Is this the usual place you come to?
Yes, I think the last one was Durham. Durham before, well, as COVID hit, and then that was, I think, the last one.
So you've been to Insight before. What do you find useful about these events?
It's mainly all the new products that are coming out, sort of getting a heads up about them, and then anything that we haven't picked up on, obviously you can ask questions and stuff, but we'll always leave here thinking, oh, new product coming out, then we'll look into it online and that sort of stuff. And it's a good, well, exactly what it is, a good insight into obviously what is coming and what's been the last year and that sort of stuff.
And I'm wondering, well, firstly, how did you learn about it? Was it through Insight or somewhere else?
So I do a lot of, basically I keep an eye on a lot of HikVision stuff because we primarily do HikVision. I don't think there's much else that we do on top of that. So I kept an eye on what was going on. I noticed the app came out before anyone really mentioned it, and it was before any Insight show.
Yes.
So I downloaded it, set up an account, and then I got an approval notification through on my email, and then I was thinking, well, okay, where do I go now? And it just so happens we had the account for about, I think it was about a month before the Insight.
Right.
And I managed to add my system to it, and then I started to play around with the early stages of it. There wasn't as much on, and then I sort of left it. But then obviously at Insight we saw obviously one of the stands, and I had a chat with them, and basically they showed us how to use the app and everything like that. And it was sort of an accident that we came across it type thing. And then from the back of that we decided that would obviously start integrating into how we do it and look at ways of obviously making it work for us.
So you talk about some of the insight or whatever. I mean, you get the system history that's in there.
The logs.
Okay. On the logs, then how does that really benefit them or benefit you? Because
you can see obviously exactly when the logs went off. So if they're saying, let's say the camera's no longer recording, you can see in the logs that they've changed settings at that time. Now they'd never admit that on the phone. But you can see obviously the settings had been changed, so either you can do it remotely for them, saving us time and avoiding any chance of any bad review. If anything, you get a better review off it. So the maintenance side, as it doesn't cost anything for the app, it's a good idea to obviously use it to benefit the company a bit more.
Yeah, fair enough.
So I've got remote control, which gives us access to the system remotely. And then you get the notifications come through as saying basically we've connected in. So the end user is told whenever anyone logs in. So in here we can change all of the settings for the system. Obviously edit all the settings in here. What we can also do is check on the system logs. So if there's any problem with the system, we can do a search on any time frame. And it will give us all sorts of notifications in there, exactly what's going on with the system. So if there's any time there's a problem, we can see.
What about permissions on those on that access?
So the permission sides is really good. Because, so whenever you, especially again, we'll go with domestic, whenever you say, oh, we can access your system and change settings for you whenever you request or things like that, automatically they think you've got full access to their system, you can do what they want and they'll never know. Now the good thing is obviously configuration. Again, most installs we put it in, we get that automatically and explain to the customer what it is. But the live view side of things and playback, we'll only ever request when we need to. Now the good thing is no matter what you do, if you ever log into a customer's system, it will tell you. So when it tells you, it obviously tells the customer, they know what's going on. Now if, say for example, we logged in, they had no reason to call us or say why, or they had a problem, they can then obviously ring us up and go, well, why are you logging into the system? So it's a good way to protect their privacy and also show them that live view, playback and all that stuff isn't possible without their permission or without their knowledge about it.
So everybody kind of feels a bit safe and secure in that sense.
Because it was the main thing when we first adopted it. It was the main thing was automatically people thought we had full access to their system, and some cameras obviously used as like baby monitors and that sort of stuff. And we were able to show them that, look, this is what we can do. This is what happens when we go into it, and this sort of stuff. And if we ever do need, say, the camera's fuzzy or something like that, that's a common one. We can then request live view. We can see that and go, oh, this is what the problem is. But we can put that request in for say for an hour. So then again, it takes it off automatically. So it's off the customer's, so our permissions are off the customer's account.
So it's not only permission based, it's limited by the time.
You can select either permanent all the way down to 1 hour. Majority of our requests will only need to be in for an hour.
And you've had generally good response on that aspect of it.
We've had a brilliant response on it. If anything, it's put us probably above the rest of obviously installers that don't use this, because we can offer this.
How do you find the health monitoring feature?
The health monitoring is a really good touch because basically what it is, so imagine a commercial unit that has say 32 cameras installed. If they have say 2 cameras go down, they might not notice for a couple of days, and that could be quite bad if say something happened in that area. But with the health monitoring package, which is a paid for service through us, what you can do is we would get notified of them 2 cameras going down within the space of about 5 minutes of it happening, which then means we can proactively contact them and resolve the issue before there's actually normally any phone call to us. It's sort of a good little touch, especially with the bigger clients that don't always have time to obviously watch the system. Hard drive failure is another good one. There could be a CCTV system in a server room that they wouldn't hear the beeping on, and it wouldn't be till they try to play back that the system would say there's no playback, there's no hard drive. We would get that instant, and we could obviously respond to that before they even realise what's happened. So we can go in the exception part, and then from here we can send notifications out of any exceptions that are happening, both the full system, so hard drive failure, anything like that. And we can also edit each individual camera, get an offline status and video loss status. So in here we've got all the office systems, basically the health monitoring, so anything that goes wrong it can notify us. So you can see on the network switch, it gives us all the current running information, any errors, and we can also edit switch, turn them on, turn them off, that sort of stuff. Again, into the health side to see the status of all the cameras connected and the hard drives.
There's a feature on there for co-branding in HikProConnect. How do you find that useful?
So the co-branding is a brilliant feature, and what that can do is once you've handed the site over to a customer, they get presented with a basically acceptance page. It has all of our details on the top, and then obviously requested permissions are there, what you want to accept, what you want to decline, that sort of stuff. But the big benefit is whenever they then log into the app, instead of bringing up sort of a HikConnect logo, it brings up the company logo. So it's a sort of self-branding. So say when, for example, a domestic property, showing their friends the app. They log in, it straight away shows our logo, which is a brilliant touch because straight away they can see who's installed it. There's a few times where people can, oh, who installed that for you, and they don't remember.
Yeah.
But the app shows you that. If they have any problems, they can click on the bottom, I think it's bottom right hand corner, click more, and it's got the details in there of the company. So you've got your company logo, you've got your phone number and your email address. So everything is sort of, the app is sort of made for the company type thing. So we also have my favorite feature, the co-branding, which is basically you can upload your company logo onto the top there, and it puts it across the app. So it appears on all of these. So if we load up the app, what should appear is the company logo. And logs you in. You can hit more, and if the end user needs obviously our details, into about, and as our logo incorporates our number, all the details are there that we need.
Overall, do you think then this has made a complete change to your workflow of your business?
I think it's opened us up a lot more. It's freed up an awful lot of time. Practically, pretty much, I would easily say we've probably saved ourselves a day a week dealing with obviously this sort of stuff, than having to go out to say a fault that isn't, one, caused by us or the system, or two, not something silly. We can see it all, and 9 times out of 10 you can actually fix. Apart from system offline, you can normally fix it without any visit to site.
Excellent. So overall, using HikProConnect, it's made a difference to your company's workflow and benefit. I mean, how would you try and summarise all of that?
I would probably say that the app has really helped the business grow. It's freed up an awful lot of time for the installers, and it's also give us that sort of extra touch we can give to our customers without them having to pay any more. For us to change a setting takes a couple of minutes, and obviously it saves them a call out charge, which in the end they're all happy about, so it's worked very well.